All right, everybody, this is the $500,000 mid-season recap. Okay, guys, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff today. I'm streaming this on Twitch at the current moment, so it's very easy to get sidetracked by the dumbasses in my Twitch chat. If you want to stop by, come to twitch.tv/DogmanDustin. Make sure not to say anything too crazy, otherwise you will be murdered on sight. Okay, guys, so we're going to chat about the overall tournament that has happened for Marvel Rivals. That was the mid-season $500,000 tournament. We're going to talk about the grand finals. Let's just talk about also the biggest surprises, the biggest disappointments that happened during the tournament. We got a little bit of a story time. All right, we'll be chatting about the story, some stories that happened, I guess, at the event. Not the story, but some interesting events that took place, I think, after the event and during the event and shit like that. That was a little fun and a lot of crazy stuff that happened. And then we're going to talk to chat a little bit at the very end. Okay, so I'll be taking questions in chat and chatting to you guys in general for the people that are here in the Twitch chat today. So, yes. And then I'm just going to end the stream then. Okay? Just going to fucking call it then. And we're going to end the video at the same time as we end the stream, and or about the same time, and that's going to be that. So this is going to be an hour talk about the Marvel Rivals 500,000 mid-season. Okay, this is a recap of everything. Guys, let's be honest. Off the rip, this shit was fucking fire. All right, guys? Sorry to cuss a little bit, but the event itself, despite all of the potential things you may have heard, was actually very good. It was actually the best event that we've had so far. It was record viewership. It was record audience attendance in person. It was the most, voice actors I've seen, the coolest fucking performance and stuff. There was an awesome guitar and singing performance live. So we got our own little concert with the Luna Snow song, which, to be honest, I hate. But I didn't hate it when it was in person, and a sick fucking guitar riff and stuff. That was awesome. That was sick. There was pins given to us. That's what I wanted to talk about as well before we get anything. They gave us some pinnage. And listen, you guys know me. I'm not a liar, okay? I'm the most honest man on the planet besides Abe Lincoln, okay? And he's dead, all right? So, obviously taken out because he was a little too honest, right? That's not actually what happened. I don't know what the fuck I'm on about. This right here, they gave out these pins for going to the event. There's a Jeff pin, there's a Ignite pin in the middle, and there's a Luna Snow pin. Very cool. I don't even like pins. So, if you guys like pins, let me know. I might have another box to give away or something like that. Maybe the next event. Overall, though, the point I'm trying to make is that it was a successful event. It genuinely was really good, despite a bunch of problems and stuff that happened. But overall, it was a very, very fun event, and I think it was kind of seen as such. So, yeah. Grand Finals between both Team Liquid Citadel and Na'Vi was the best Grand Finals I've seen. That was fucking sick. It was genuinely an awesome grand finals. There were two unlosable fights that Team Liquid Citadel lost. It was insane. I talked to NRG about it. I was in and out kind of watching the finals. I was really busy talking to people, but I saw that Paulie was getting a lot of shit or something online, and I think he was feeling really bad about it, so it's tough for him. But really, Team Liquid Citadel, they lost two unlosable fights, man. I don't know how they kept doing it. It was they threw as hard as possible. It was genuinely impressive. How that kind of happened, really. Terra looked like a fucking god. Again, by the way, had the best speech at the very end. That was a great speech by Terra. He's looked like he's improved at talking, which is very impressive. And then Na'Vi did it again. They won the last midseason when they were rad. Now they won it as Na'Vi, and Terra got the MVP, and which was well deserved. Apparently the metal itself was heavy as fuck. That thing was crazy, crazy heavy. That was impressive how heavy that metal was. Energy, though, was also popping off for TLC, but unfortunately not enough, right? Not enough for him and that crew. This was an awesome meta, dude. The fact, side note, the meta, the fact that it was, people shit on Triple Stratus and stuff like that, and I get that. I understand. Triple Stratus slot, but I feel like the evolution of the meta as the tournament went on was awesome. I get complaining about the meta and stuff and complaining about Triple Stratus and whatever, but the fact that it wasn't like that the whole tournament and the fact that we had the patch happen so soon and things were changing every day and it was incredibly stressful for the pros, I imagine. From a viewership perspective, the best tournaments we've had so far, it has the craziest meta shifts. That's been every tournament so far. I don't know if you guys agree. Obviously, let me know if you don't agree with that. I don't know. I feel like every tournament we've had so far has been fucking sick. That has had an insane meta shift or whatever. That was this tournament. We had the most changes that we saw in Heroes played, and that was exciting to me. That was a lot of fun to watch. Well, I want to talk about a bit of the biggest surprises and maybe the biggest disappointments as well from the event. For me, the biggest surprises was Gen G and how good they looked. I mean, I had Gen G winning it all for some reason. That was a little bit of a goof from me, a little bit of a gaffe for me. But I mean, I thought it was because we were going to see more Wolverine and shit like that, which we did not, to be honest. I thought there was going to be Penny Parker, a lot of Penny meta. I thought there was going to be more Wolverine involved, but it makes sense the fact that Penny's so good that maybe not so much. And then some of the best Wolf teams in Swamp Gaming and stuff also kind of exceeded expectations. But really, at the end of the day, boys, we all have to admit that the most important character, the strongest character in the fucking game, is Magneto. But let's be honest, Magneto's broken. That character was crazy good the whole tournament, popping off consistent mag play was crucial, right? Rajaro is like also one of the best players in the goddamn game right now. I mean, the best Magneto this tournament at the very least could have been easily the MVP over Terra sometimes, right? Like, or you could make a debate, I should say. Maybe not easily. That's a bad way to put it. I think that you could make the debate for Rajaro winning the MVP of the grand finals. So, I mean, he was great the whole tournament, man. What an underrated player because of Trust Me last year and this year. And Trust Me does a lot for the team, but Rajaro finally getting his sort of looks is great. That's awesome. Cool to see him kind of join the discussion as one of the best Vanguards in the entire game. But Gen G did look good. I thought they had a solid performance. Dwep looked crazy throughout the whole tournament. Had a consistent game. I was really impressed, by the way, by Rad getting top 3 alongside Ducky. I know people were talking about Crazy Kitty a lot, and he was going crazy Dicko mode on Black Cat. But it's a bit of a melee, I'm not going to say one trick, but melee specialist. And when I'm talking about Rad getting top 3, I think you can't mention them getting top 3 without Ducky. That guy was crazy on group. The best group play I've seen. Some of the most insane group plays I've seen with the team as well. Just like the trust that he had in his squad, the reactions to do it so fast. And he's super young and has a lot to improve at, and also a lot of living to do. That guy's fucking 17 years old or something. Like he's got a bright future ahead of him. I think as well. I think it was Smashnaz that came up to me at the very end of the tournament. He said he watched a video I made about how hard it is to become a pro or whatever when he was like 11. And then he said now he's a fucking pro in Marvel Rivals, and he said it was a good story. Okay, it's a good story. Cool for Smash, even though I kind of behind the scenes shit on him for his Black Widow gameplay. That's a little awkward. But I do love you, Smash. You have what it takes, all right, to improve. All right? Just hit your fucking ults, dude. What are you doing? Be more like Energy. No, I'm just kidding. Don't say that. That's bad advice. Never, just be yourself, buddy. All right. VP didn't look that good. All right, guys, let's be honest. That was weird, right? Am I the only one surprised? Am I the only one that's surprised a little bit by VP fucking shit in the bed a little bit? I love them. I love Saipe. I love all those guys in EQO and in that group. I have a ton of respect for them still. So I hope they don't watch this video. But in general, it just sucks. It's tough to see VP struggle so much at a tournament like this. Honestly, Thought they would have looked a lot better than that, really, at the end of the day. Back to the play-ins, by the way. The fact that VP lost to Rad is kind of crazy. The fact that Reject, by the way, looked really good in the play-ins. I mean, a lot of people kind of talked about that being a team that was sort of like a dark horse. It's just tough. They had to go against Rad. It's weird. They should have probably had a better match versus 100 Thieves. They looked the worst they could have ever looked versus 100 Thieves. They looked awful. At the end of the day, versus 100 Thieves. That's the tough part. They looked a lot better versus Rad, but they didn't have a lot of room to work with. They played against 100 Thieves and lost. They lost the match they should have won, Team Reject. That was the biggest difficulty for the Korean squad, that, they have former MVP and Yaki in that squad, right? And, they should have been able to beat 100 Thieves. They really should have. But 100 Thieves are still a solid team, and it's weird because 100 Thieves disappointed by, going out so early, but then looked good versus Reject. Just as the tournament went on, they slowly got worse. It was a very strange thing. And for Reject, I imagine they could have performed better and might have actually gone farther than like Gen G did, for example, if they just made it out of play-in. So, I mean, it's hard for me to feel bad for a full Korean roster because my ass got fucking kicked by the Koreans in Overwatch for like 2 whole years. So tough luck for them. I don't know why I said that. My bad. Anyway, 100 Thieves. Disappointed, like I said, to losing to Gen G. They had a tough tournament throughout. Made it out the play-ins. That's a big deal. And to at least get to the playoffs is big, but they got 2-0'd by Na'Vi in the first round and then got 3-1 by Gen G later on. And boom, just like that, out of the tournament. Out of the tournament, boys. Insane for that to happen. And yeah, I mean, generally, this was the most exciting tournament we've had so far. I mean, we could talk about Swamp as well. They actually had a good run to get top 4. I thought they would have been out earlier due to the fact they were so green and new to the LAN experience. But both them and Rad, the fact that they were two very young teams to make it as far as they did is very impressive. Both with different stories and different ways to get there. I heard a lot of people talking about how like Rad were LARPing the whole event to get top 4. Like they were basically top 3, sorry, to say like the why not us type of memes. It's a hilarious team, a fucking awesome story. How Rad, just like literal rags to riches story. Just to really believe in themselves when nobody else did, and just to really that they were like the fake it till you make it to the extreme. They really were. And a really fun tournament, right? This was, I think that the biggest benefit that Marvel Rivals has compared to Overwatch, compared to other scenes, is the fact that we do kind of have like a sort of like family vibe to us, almost like a tight-knit vibe, which it felt like when I remember with Overwatch, like a lot of the teams were not like friends. A lot of the players weren't friends with each other. And in this game, in our esport, it seems like the teams that aren't friends with each other and don't like each other don't do well in this game generally, unless you're just like pay to win a little bit with like TLC and whatever these teams. It does seem like that's kind of the case. We have a bit of like a campy vibe to us, which is nice. I like that aspect. That's way better to me than in Overwatch, where it just felt like everything was very cut and dry. You know, succeed or die in Overwatch. In this game, it is kind of like that too, but to me, it feels a lot more like a tight knit community, more so than just like a corpo. Fucking environment like Overwatch League was. I like that aspect of this esport more than Overwatch by a lot, to be honest with you. But the narrative that EU and NA keep getting top 4 is continuing, guys. All right, it's just continuing. We still have, again, top 4 teams this tournament were NA and EU. All right, let's be honest. Last midseason, the top 3 teams was 2 NA and 1 EU. Then it switched for the grand finals, went back to 2 EU and 1 NA. And then for this midseason, it was 2 EU teams and 1 North American in Team Liquid Citadel. Which apparently behind the scenes, by the way, the Scrim Bucks were all in favor of TLC. When I looked at the actual Scrim results themselves, and I'm talking about it now, obviously not during the tournament, but it was like, I think in Scrims, TLC were 67% win rate. But obviously Scrims don't really matter. But yeah, what a fucking championship too, dude. That was an insane championship, guys. I mean, the fact that TLC lost like 2 unlosable fights, it's just insane. Yeah, let's get into story time now. Let's get into story time a little bit, and then we'll talk in the chat. We'll talk to you guys in just a second. All right. Now, I'm reading you guys. By the way, if you're talking in chat, I am reading you. I'm just not responding at the current moment due to the fact that we are also trying to make this into like a short little YouTube video. So don't worry. Towards the end of this video, we'll be more just yapping with chat and trying to talk a little bit. Maybe in the future, we'll get a co-host for this kind of thing, so it's not fucking just me chatting by myself. Maybe we can get some Vodskis in here or something in the future. And just like fucking yap it up. But let's talk about story time a little bit, okay, guys? There he is, Arian himself. 75% win rate in scrims against Na'Vi is what TLC said. Literal analysts was set. So they were doing well in practice. It's just at the main event, they choked it. They really genuinely just choked it. Like, it was tough. And they were all talking about it like that, and they're aware of it. So I'm sure they just have to not overthink it to do better next time. But Na'Vi are the type of team to not choke. They have so much experience on their team, and also fucking Terra, the GOAT, alongside one of the best player situations you could be in. They were all very good players. I mean, Na'Vi easily deserved this championship due to how they played throughout the whole tournament. And it was impressive what they've done throughout the whole year. So, and obviously I know they want to keep it going to the grand finals. I know Terra said that he wanted to retire or whatever during the event. That guy's fucking unhinged. Terra is probably the most unhinged pro I've ever seen in esports, by the way. I'm not over-exaggerating. This guy is like a fucking like weird savant. It's so odd how good he is at the game for how little he actually practices. He is an anomaly in the space, and I don't know. Like, I imagine he's gonna be successful in esports regardless, and especially in Marvel Rivals, obviously. But that guy's a savant, basically. And I don't think I've ever met a savant in esports, really. I mean, besides maybe there was in like in Korea or whatever. But usually those guys get forced out because they're hard to work with, and it takes a certain person to work with like somebody like that. And, he's kind of lucky that he's working with Trust Me a little bit too, I would say, in that regard, because they kind of push each other to be better, as stressful as it is for them, I imagine. But okay. Story time. Can you elaborate what was so good? We'll ask questions later, more. Ask questions later, okay? Save that. Shib almost got killed, okay, in the streets of Inglewood, okay? As we walked back from the In-N-Out, brother, my co-caster almost died, okay? He almost fucking died. We were walking back and some crazy person tried to, like, stab him almost, basically. They looked like it. I thought they were holding... It was like this person walking down the street with a fucking, like, thing, like, on their hip, and they were, like, calling him, like, swear words in Spanish and shit like that. And he was like... And then Shib tried to move out the way, and they, like body blocked him, almost. It was crazy. It was a body blockage. It was like a spawn camp. Bro was trying to jump off the map to reset, and he couldn't, because she wouldn't let him. But we got out of there. Shib eventually did get reset, and he turned into baby Shib by the end of the tournament. It was great. Good times. It was a good event, boys. Okay, there's nothing else to really say about this point for the first part of this sort of discussion. This is the best I could for taking notes, so hopefully it didn't sound too random. Space was there. The boy Space was there. He kind of a weird situation. I feel like every young pro player tries to copy Space. It's so odd. It's so odd to me. Like, I love Space, and I know him from the Overwatch scene, obviously, and, it's just funny to see it, because he was young when I was he's still young, obviously, but, he was about the same age as me back in the day, and, it's weird to see how much everybody looks up to him. It's kind of odd, because, like, I would sit there and, like, ask, there was, like, a group of pros around Space, I'd like say something, and then nobody would respond, and everybody be looking towards Space to see how he responded. Like, he was the fucking mob boss. Like, he could be sitting there with a fucking cigar out of his mouth, just fucking, like, breathing that shit, and nobody else can say anything until Space does. Like, and he's living it up, dude. Bro is aura farming to the goddamn max. Like, he's looking around all over the place, stroking his beard. I'm like, this guy is the most fucking mob boss looking motherfucker I have ever seen. So, shout out to boy Space for, I guess, just... I don't know, man. I don't know. That was just a funny situation, in my opinion. You may have seen, I guess, the America Man stuff that happened. I'll just say this. on the situation. That guy, America Man's canceled. Okay, guys, canceled. That's all you got to know. All right, that guy, he should have been treated like Mr. Shrek, where he was just axed out of the whole tournament. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be real. America Man, unhinged motherfucker. Okay, guys, that guy is crazy. I'm not crazy, obviously. You know me. I'm a very chill guy. But America Man with the milk situation, too far. Too far. You know what I'm saying? America Man, you gotta figure that shit out. All right, gotta figure that shit out. All right, that's basically about it. Any questions or anything in the chat in general? We'll chat a little bit. I mean, this was, like I said, a little bit more loose than typical fucking YouTube videos, since we're actually live talking on Twitch this time. So make sure to come to the streams if you want to be involved, I suppose. But open the floor, I suppose, to anybody in the chat that wants to fucking talk or yap or whatever, talk about the event. Yeah. What repercussions did the production have with the forced bottle feeding? I mean, that wasn't even the problem, dude. The problem is that it was about a different IP. But everybody loved it. So, behind the scenes, for as far as I'm aware, it was just a dumb thing. Nothing really happened, honestly. Okay, it's just, maybe don't mention Homelander on a Marvel Rivals broadcast. You know what I'm saying? That guy, American Man, for bringing that up was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? But maybe somebody has to sit down, American Man, to talk to him about that before anything happens. It was fun, though. It was fun. It was a good event, and I mean, overall, I'll admit it. Okay, I think American Man did a good enough job. Besides that, so yeah. Does China need to be reduced to 1 slot or be 2 at the minimum? I think China should just not be at these events anymore. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, the region's not good enough. It's. I think in the past, I would say, I'd defend China and stuff because of how they performed. But so far, especially if they don't do anything this year at the end, like, they just got to axe the spot. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, I don't think that China should be at these events if they're going to perform like that. It's tough. Like, they just got 3-0'd. They got 2-0'd. I had expectations for them. That's probably why I'm talking in such harsh terms. But now I don't. Like for the next events, I'm just not going to have expectations because both teams, OUG and Aconics, look terrible. Like it's tough, and it's not even necessarily their fault. It's just the game is not as popular in China. That's really what it is at the end of the day. It's just more of a Western game, and or even like a Korean game because there's a lot of the washed up Korean pros that want a chance to make 500K. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll get more of that, but I don't think in the Chinese scene we have the same transfer. I mean, we've had some. But it's just the scene is like kind of dead over there a little bit compared to over here. Like we have a lot more people that give a shit about ranked, and they just don't. It's that simple. It really is that simple. The Chinese region does not care about ranked. And, you know, we're talking about OCE playing pretty well, the best players in OCE getting out over here in Korea. But, yeah, like EMEA and NA have the biggest ranked scene. So that's what it is, man. That's really what it is. It's Jake. It was nice meeting you at the land. Dude, it was nice meeting you, Jake. I remember you, bro. It was great meeting you, boss. It was great meeting anybody that was at the event. It was the fans were all awesome. The people there were awesome. Obviously, there was a few outliers, but you know what? Everybody's kids, and we gotta fucking. If people are being weird, you gotta stand up for each other, man. Not enough people in this world stand up for each other. All right, you gotta fucking. Whip out the whatever you have and just fucking be a man or a woman or whatever. Okay, just you got to stand up for yourself, man. That's it. That's what I learned from the event. Stand up for yourself, boys. Okay, stand up for yourself. That's simple. Nice meeting you at the event, Dustin. I was the guy you twerked for. Okay, chat questions are fucking done, scumbag. Get the hell out of here. Why are you wearing women's sunglasses? They're not women's sunglasses, dude. They're Elvis Presley's fucking glasses in the original bit with those glasses. It's American Man's glasses. Okay, he bought them himself, but they, to me, look like they're from, they're Elvis Presley's sunglasses, and if you know, you know. It's a reference to Generation Kill, you dumbass. Okay, don't you dare insult the Golden God sunglasses, okay? My Hollywood-ass sunglasses, you bastard. Okay, it's a reference to one of the best Amazon TV shows of all time, Generation Kill. Okay, guys? And if you don't know, you better know, because that shit was fucking baller. Okay, it was a great show. Nobody knows it, but it was really good. I think the same guy from The Wire was on it, too, or whatever. Anyway, any other questions? And besides talking about twerking? Yeah, the dude that got escorted out of the event for being a fucking freak and then still being a freak, it's just not a surprise. I mean, that guy is crazy. Needs to be sent to a psych ward. I'm not kidding. Tell me why you love Tara. He's just a really good player. That's really about it. He's a really good player, and he's improving at interviews. That's about it. He's getting better. He's getting better. Was it day one? I don't know. It's better not to talk about like drama like that in general. I feel like because you don't want to. That guy wants the attention, so just drop it. Okay. Were you surprised by Gen G over 100 Thieves? Me, no. I was surprised Gen G didn't go further, but. It's just tough because Swamp was when I made my original video, I completely fucking glossed over Swamp for no reason. Because I was thinking I was really heavy into thinking it was going to be like a Wolverine type meta or whatever. But I was just not aware. I just fucking forgot about Swamp Gaming. I keep doing that with them. I keep forgetting about Swamp. But also, it was kind of, to me, I saw Gen G and Duet pop up before on Mag Meta, and I was like super infatuated with that. So I thought Gen G were going to win the whole thing. Like, I fucking went all in on Gen G, and it did not happen. Okay? It did not happen. But, yeah. With the sub, I feel like they did well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the fact that they had to replace Salvation, like, last second, too, so, like, and go over to Alex. I mean, obviously, I think Alex is probably a better player than Salvation. But also, you have to take into account the synergy between Salvation and Bobo and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, Gen G looked really good, dude. They did. They looked really good, and that's still pretty impressive out of them. I know they probably wanted more, and everybody did. I know Swamp was also depressed they didn't get over top 4, but that's still a really good turn. I think both Swamp and Rad did not disappoint. I think they overperformed expectations, especially Rad, but still Swamp too. Like the fact that, I mean, I kind of assumed just because of experience, VP would have made it further than Swamp, for example. I think that's a very, very impressive tournament out of Swamp Gaming, despite everything that kind of happened. So yeah, I think it was more what everybody expected, but in a different way. I guess this tournament was almost our reality check that things actually can look very similar to online, I guess. Because usually we've seen some crazy shit in the past happen and like some divergences with like the fucking timeline, dude, and the playoff timeline, that is. And this time it didn't really happen. I think this time it was more so based off of actually kind of what happened online. We heard Rad online didn't really care about seeding and didn't give a shit about one of their matches. Like, allegedly, maybe one of the players after they got top 3 and qualified for LAN got incredibly drunk the night before and then fucking was hungover before a match or something. Allegedly, okay? Allegedly that happened. So I think Rad was a better team than the 3rd seed, and VP were obviously not as good as their seeding was, basically. And Rad, I think, has a real chance to become the best team in Europe, I think, this year, based off of what I saw. I think they really do have a shot if Crazy Kitty picks up some more hit-scan characters or if the meta goes back to being melee character-centered. Because that really is it. Like, I think it felt like, based on when we saw the relegation tournament, it did seem like hit-scan characters were a little broken, and then also the triple strategist comp with Adam and Ultron was broken. So that was kind of, I think, holding Rad back a little bit. As good as Crazy Kitty was. Crazy Kitty is like the best black cat in the game. I think actually Self looked really good too in that role. And then but Crazy Kitty also plays the Daredevil, and so does Self. But I mean, he's just like a little bit slightly better. It's just Self is not as good as that, and he really is like the best melee. Kind of like old Terra. I think Crazy Kitty has a real chance to be like old Terra, but Terra picked up hit scan, which is weird. There's not many people that can just pick up hit scan and play it to the level that Terra did. You know what I'm saying? That's a bit insane. The fact that Terra went from like being Iron Fist, fucking Wolverine shit, and then just having God aim, that just doesn't happen, dude. That's not, I've never seen that before. That's like just him. Energy is like in that same boat, but also I don't know if Energy's melee is as strong as Terra's, I guess. And then it's like even Speedily's hit scan hasn't shown as strong as when he has played it. Besides on Ultron, he probably could. I think Speedily probably could pick up the Elsa and stuff like that. And that would be maybe a divergence for Team Liquid Citadel. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Rad has a bright future if Crazy Kitty picks up a few more heroes, I think, alongside Smash. I think I was too critical on Smash. I would like it if Crazy Kitty picked up more hit scan stuff and started practicing, because I think he could be good on those sort of heroes. The way Fox talks about his team, I was expecting finals to be Navi and Swamp. Yeah, but it's like, that's, of course he's going to talk about his team in that way, Of course he is. Of course he's going to talk about Swamp like they're the fucking gods, That's part of the fucking, that's his bit, I guess. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let the monkey cook. He'll cook some good shit for dinner. Literal shit, though. Literal shit. Dottle that saved us. Wait. Hold on 1 second. That saved us because we had to go to play-ins and choke so we could get over stage jitters and win. Yo, high key, yeah, dude. Yeah. Absolutely, you're right. They needed to, you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe Rad losing to 100 Thieves was more so Rad playing bad. That was kind of the mainstay I felt like in the play-ins, is that every team just played like horse shit. And the only reason why like Thieves won was because Reject played like shit. Rad played like shit, I guess. And then they kind of figured it out after that. So you're right. Just Reject didn't have the same opportunity. They really didn't. They really didn't. Why was Shaipe shaking so bad on stage? What the hell was his performance? Was it that bad? I don't know. I didn't really notice it being that bad. But the heat was really bad, boys. That was the hardest part about the whole event. Hopefully next time we just have good AC, guys, because everybody that went, it was fucking really hot. It was really hot. It was like I was like in the UK during summer, inside, 24 hours. Oh god, it was just hot as shit. I don't want to think about it again. I didn't want to think about it again. It was so hot. That's all you got to know. I said you shouldn't be wearing tank tops. I was wrong. Should have been wearing a tank. Dude, I would have been naked in that room if I could. I'm gonna be honest. I would have been naked. I should have been naked. How was the crowd? It sounded loud for a smaller venue. Oh, it was sick. It was a sick crowd at the very end. I just wish we sold tickets for more expensive because too many people bought the 4-day pass for the event and then didn't show up for the first fucking 3 days. So we sold out, and then because of how we did the ticket sales online, that's another thing. I shouldn't. It's not my job. So, but like, it was a sold out event, and it was sick for the final day. The crowd showed up. And it was awesome. They used the venue in a very good way. Like, I thought it was better than the old Overwatch League Stadium in Burbank Studios, how they had it set up. It was really good. Genuinely. It was the best they could do with the situation at hand. I thought it was better setup-wise in terms of the layout than, like, I went to the Valorant VCT games as like a last thing to do while my flight got delayed at the end of the tournament. And I saw my boy Baby Bay, by the way. If you know, you know. If you remember, I saw Draysky. And for that, this is a side tangent. Sorry, I'm getting off a little track. But I went to the Valorant event, which their event is cool because it's AC. It had some good AC in there, and they had a lot of nice things to do on the side. I definitely want to send over some stuff that was from that event that was really cool. But at that event, just to get off topic a little bit, I literally saw Baby Bay, our boy Draysky, playing for Team G2 because apparently he's 31 and still competing in Valorant esports somehow. I don't know what the fuck, why that guy wants to do that shit. For the love of the game, that is stressful as shit. But there were so many Sentinels fans for that Valorant game than for G2. So I was the only person chanting for G2. There was like everybody else, 80% was chanting Sentinels. And because of how my brain works, I'm getting pissed off that nobody's chanting for G2. So, of course, anytime G2 did good, by the way, they fucking won. Let's go G2 for winning that game. I don't care about Valorant at all. That shit, esport fucking sucks. Fuck Valorant. That game is trash. Anyways, it's a nice setup for their situation because they're like in like a movie theater type vibe, and it works for that game because of the downtime. There's like a lot of downtime, so it feels like I'm in like a movie theater. It's very cool. That's why I think the Overwatch League Burbank studio didn't really work out because it was like a movie theater setup, but Overwatch is not like a movie at all. But who triggered Dogman? No, I'm just triggered by the Sentinels fucking fangirls, dude, okay? That's it. I hate the Howling Banshees. All right, it's from the Shock days because the SF Shock fans were fucking cringe e-girls yelling their ass off, Shock, and nobody would do the same thing for my team. So obviously that's why I'm tilted. I mean, I would love if the Banshees were on my team because they're not. I'm pissed at them. So obviously because nobody's chanting like that for Baby Bay, I'm going on the other side. You know, let's go G2. And then I was chanting. That was the only guy chanting at the whole studio. Gaskin and Lemon, Kiwi that were with me were like trying to actively run away from me. They're like, I'm not near this guy. I'm not near him. But I'm just the cringe lord that just loves getting into that kind of shit. So I tried like a really bad, I was going to say fuck send, like fuck send, but I didn't do that. I just went screw Sentinels, and then I sat down because that was really bad. That was not funny at all. And I don't know. I just don't feel embarrassment, so I think that's probably why I can get away with it in my head, probably. That's my coping mechanism. Anyway, that was the Valorant event. It was cool. That was a side tangent of a fucking century. We can learn a lot from the Valorant event, I think, but also they can learn a lot from us, because our event felt way less corporate, and that was the best part of the event. I think the best part of our event in Marvel Rivals was the fact that it feels like everybody was very family-oriented. And that was cool. I think genuinely awesome that the mom showed up for Gen G. I wish Gen G bought their moms like t-shirts and branding and shit, because that would have been awesome to see them all with like Gen G moms or something like that. That'd be cool. Are you taking back your accusation against Gomakazi? My Gomakazi thoughts are that I still think he is cheating, and I think that if you want to get away with cheating, you can't. So that's the tough part, is that I believe cheating is too far ahead of anti-cheat, that if you really want to cheat, you can. Especially if you have, what like I know they do with the cheaters, they have like a huge community of people working around like cheaters. So it's like 30 plus or 40 plus people in like some cheater Discord that like actively work on getting around the anti-cheat, and there's nothing that can really be done about it because of how the anti-cheat works and all that sort of stuff. So I don't blame the devs. I've been over this in the first place. I don't blame the developers for not banning him, and I like I said, I'm fine with that, and that's a cool that's a fine thing to do. It's eventually I'm hoping that they catch up to him if he is cheating. If he is cheating, and I think he is. So my assumption is that in a few years, and this is why I'm going to kind of drop it and not talk about Gomikaze as much anymore, is because if he is cheating, he will get caught. And if he's not, he's just going to pop off and is going to be a GOAT. So it's kind of it's a win-win in my head. It's just tough that nothing can really be done in the meantime if he is actually cheating. So, like, all I care about is competitive integrity at the end of the day, because I don't have a dog in the race. I'm not competing in this game. I just don't want people to cheat. That's really all it is. It's nothing more complicated than that. Besides, competitive integrity is the number one thing for me, and it's not my job to catch cheaters. I'm not a anti-cheat developer. I just know that you can get away with cheating, and cheating is far ahead of anti-cheat right now. That's really about it, sadly. And I'm not crazy for believing that either. If you talk to any CS guy, if you talk to anybody that actually knows what they're talking about, that's what they tell you. And again, I am not one of those, but I think it's a smart thing to trust people that do know what they're talking about. And yeah, that's really about it. And I'm very passionate about it, but obviously, I'm not gonna fucking lose my job over calling somebody a cheater at the end of the day. I'll lose my job doing something else stupid, like trying to feed somebody milk. Okay? That's how I'll lose my job. Did you do player VOD review? How did Terra have so many final hits against some of the best players in the game? I'd be down to do that. I wanted to watch back the game, actually. So maybe next content piece we do, I'll watch back the finals, because I didn't like fully invest myself in watching the finals, sadly, due to a bunch of other circumstances that kind of were happening to me, sadly, during that event. But I will absolutely watch back those games and, yeah. Do some Dogman jerseys, get an American Man jersey. Maybe we'll have American Man watch back the finals. Maybe we could do that. I'll bring him here, or he'll break in. Who knows? I don't know what that guy, he's random as fuck. But yeah, to answer that, yeah. Any more questions, boys? Dogman jerseys and shit. I might bring my own stuff to like sell. I saw the Namor voice actor was like selling fucking art. I'd love to do something like that. I see him like he's at the voice acting booth and he's like, "Yo, you want to buy my like fucking art in the background? I'll sign it for you." And you know, hey, respect the grind. Respect the grind, dude. Everybody's got to make their fucking bag. All right. Sell bath water. I'll sell Gomikaze shower water. How about that? Terra's sweat. How about that? Terra would accept it too. Terra would be down. I'll buy his sweat for like 10 cents on the dollar, and then I'll resell Terra sweat. It's a good idea. Game worn Atlanta Rangers at $50, dude. That is too cheap. Hell no. Hell no. Do you know when we can expect stage 2? No, but hopefully we figure out something soon. This is kind of a problem that I genuinely don't know when things are happening. And I would love if you guys knew when the next events were coming up and when things are actually taking place as soon as possible, so you guys can plan for these events, to watch them online or to go to them in person. We need to know ASAP. That's like the most important thing. When are things happening? Can we get the ball rolling in that department? Hopefully we do, and I think they'll get that feedback, and I'm sure that they will have an announcement soon. If they don't, I will be disappointed. But I'm thinking, I imagine that they will do it. MVP elixir is just Terra's sweat in a bottle. Can't sell in the bottle, man. That'd be too much. He can't sweat out that much, man. He can't sweat out that much. All right, boys. Any more? Will American Man ever appear with Australia Man? Absolutely. Who knows? Who knows? My theory is that American Man is just like the Hood, you know, the Marvel character, where anybody can wear it. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? But Australia Man could be a thing. Fucking King Britain might be a thing. I'm not sure. I don't know the theory crafting behind the nemesis of Miracle Man. I don't even know how it works as a mechanic. All right. I don't know. I just know he's an annoying person at the end of the day. Very annoying guy, that America Man. The trans community is forgiven America Man. See, I doubt America Man even knows what he's done to the trans community. But I'm sure it's something. The guy's crazy. The guy's unhinged. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if he's offended every community, under the fucking sun. That guy's unhinged. Unhinged maniac. All right. I think I'm going to be done. I think I'm going to end the recording now. So thank you for watching in general. Thank you for those of you who showed up in chat today. You guys are sick. In the head. You're insane. You're mentally ill. No, I'm just kidding. You're awesome for showing up. So thank you for coming by. And I'm going to end the Not Dogman video and then probably just zap with you guys for a little bit. So goodbye to the YouTube channel, Not Dogman. I'm deleting it after this video.